Hi, this is DOSBox Mom, and welcome back to Let's Play Treasures of the Savage Frontier. We've rested and we memorized spells after that battle we had in this tiny room with the Host Tower Mages and Host Tower Sorceresses, and now we're ready to finally go tackle the Daggerford Castle, where the menfolk of the town are being held captive by the bad guys. So let's get out of this building. This is one of the exits from town. We're probably going to be going back this way soon. And there's the castle again. Now, did the black cloak guards round a corner up ahead? Look! There they are! Get them! Yeah. We flee, but we're still... This is the entrance to the small castle, the Duke of Daggerford. The building's walls are well crafted, but with the passage of time, the parapets are beginning to crumble. So, no guards stand within the gate, and the corridor is deathly quiet. Okay. What's in this room? Yeah, we can rest anywhere inside except in the... So we can't rest in the hallway, but we should be able to rest in the rooms. A group of men and monsters are resting in this room. When you enter, they leap up and attack. Let's see what we're up against. Okay, we've got Cyclops Skin, Zendel Lords, Great Margoyles, and a Host Tower Sorceress. Okay, so let's... we keep all our melee attackers to one side, we can still probably manage a fireball or ice storm against the other end of the group of enemies. Which is where the Host Tower Sorceress is. Well, maybe an ice storm. It's not that big a group. Or a stinking cloud, surely. Oh crap. Okay, let's hope that whole person works. Magic Missile is probably good because there's only the one spellcaster. And that way we can be sure that we don't get anybody we don't mean to get. I'm glad that magic missile worked because the whole person sure didn't. Okay. Let's see if we've got enough room for an ice storm here. Actually, that doesn't look too bad. Okay. Well, now that we know we've got room for an ice storm, maybe we can move him here. Yeah, that should work. Okay, a little bit of gems and platinum. And some more lucky papers. And we'll have our single class mage take the darts. We'll have Poxenarian take the lucky papers. Oh. Okay, let's see how we can make room for... Can we maybe ditch the silver mirror for now? We could always give that to him. They're friends. Just have to make sure she buys another one. And we just plain don't have room for the rest of this stuff. She can heal Rosita there. Okay, we can still rest safely here. Now, where is the Duke of Daggerford? A man in worn velvet robes sits cowering in the far corner of the secret room, guarded by a single determined warrior. You record what happens next as entry number 51. Which we are flipping to now. The Zentarum and their hideous monsters came rolling into town like a tidal wave. My guards and citizens fought bravely, but we were overwhelmed. I had to hide in here to escape certain death. I don't know. Still makes you sound like a wuss, sir. Okay. Well, let's find the men of Daggerford. Okay. Yeah. I don't see any reason to deal with random encounters in the hallway. If I don't have to. Okay. Big battle just beyond this door. It's going to be another crystal one. We've got a green one, so we want to take out either a Kraken or a Zentarum first this time, because they control the other two kinds of crystals. So let's camp and save and cast plenty of protective spells. And I'd say for a crystal battle we could probably justify using a haste. But I think I'll skip the fire shield for now. Okay. Here goes. On the far side of this room, a large group of men sit dejectedly on the floor guarded by gargoyles. Several humans stand near the door talking, and as the party enters, they attack! So, let's see what we've got. Host Tower Sorceresses, Great Margoyles, Kraken Masters, Zental Lords, and some Margoyles. Okay, who's the closest? Don't want them first. Yeah, I'm going to try it for a Kraken Master first. Okay, and they smashed their crystal, so I should have a different crystal at the end of this battle. And I believe we've entered the Host Tower Sorceresses to be able to cast spells. Okay, here comes our ranger with his sword of stone cutting to take on those Margoyles. Okay, are there any more humans? One there. Maybe a nice stinking cloud. Yeah, that'll help with that Zental Lord at least. They have lots of hit points and a fairly good armor class. Excuse me. Oh, crap. Okay, well, if we're gonna use Magic Missile, oh, they're both... Oh, I feel so stupid when I do that. Okay. So there's our... Got some treasure. Ooh, Jabarkus gets a promotion. As soon as we get to a training hall. Okay, gems, fair amount of platinum for one of these battles. Ooh, lots of good stuff. Okay. Okay, we got bracers. Fair number of lucky papers. Okay, we'll have our mage take the darts. And we'll have Pox take the lucky papers. And it looks like Mintar must be a new one. So we're going to have to find a room for that. Okay, somebody's going to have to dump their bracers so we can have her move that Farms of Long Saddle map. Okay, she's still got a flail plus one that she doesn't need. Let's see if Jabarkus can use it. He's got a plus one mace. A flail would be better though. Okay. And then Pox can give her long saddle map back to Teresa, who I believe has the rest of the maps anyway. And then Pox can take the last of those lucky papers. The rest of the stuff would be nice, but we don't have room for it. Teresa examines the blue crystal. Well, now we have the Host Tower and Kraken crystals. Just one! The red Zental crystal remains before we can unmask the entire plot. You talk with the men and record your conversations at Journal Entry 54. The Zentarum stormed into town with a great force of men and monsters and captured us before we could organize our resistance. We might have held out longer, but the Duke turned and ran away. So much for the man who claims to be a descendant of the brave boy with a dagger who founded this poor town. You should know that your movements were being watched from the moment you entered town. Just as you launched your attack upon this stronghold, the Zentarum sent out messengers. They were to warn their allies at the way in to the south that you'd be coming. If you hurry to the edge of town, perhaps you can intercept them in time and still surprise the enemies there. South door to this room leads to the street, and come to any of our shops when you return to Daggerford. We'll make sure you're rewarded for your heroism. Okay, can't go to their shops right away because, of course, we got to catch those enemies that would be warning the people in the way in. So let's get out of here. South. Okay. And quickest way out. Take a left here and down this street. Ahead lies the wilderness outside the town. As you approach the edge of town, you see a small party of Zentarum fighters try to slip unnoticed in the wilderness. Reluctantly, they turn to fight the party. So good, we caught them. Okay. Not sure if we'll be able to visit the shops after we get done with this battle or not. So evidently these are the guys that we're going to warn the way in. Yeah. We rescued the men of Daggerford from the Duke of Daggerford's castle. Then these guys slipped out the back and they were going to warn the enemies in the next town.
Oh, what fun.
So we've caught them before they could leave town. Of course, the problem is we weren't able to rest after the last battle, so we're a little bit down on spells at the moment.
And
Okay, she still has a stinking cloud left. And that worked just fine. Bless you. Oh. And we'll take out these subtle fighters that we've mobilized. And let's see if we can finish him off. Very good. Okay, a little bit of gems and platinum. And some arrows. Which are nice. Let's see if she's got room for arrows. Okay, it must be non-magical. In that case, we'll have Jabarkus take them, probably. No, he can't take them either. Rats. Well, in that case, we might not bother. No, we don't want the treasure. Look at this, Eladan calls out. The message reads, Heroes of Ascor, freed Daggerford. Will probably come for way in next. May Bane guide your hands. Okay.
guess that tells us where we're heading next.
Yeah. But since we caught them before they could leave town, maybe we can rest now. Yep. So... Of course we can't rest out in the streets. Let's see what effect having 2 crystals has on one of those lucky papers. Okay, so this is the one for Daggerford. We can make out a little bit of the message.
I have no idea what that first word's supposed to be.
I don't know if there is supposed to be a letter there. If we lose Lork, we will something bring forces to lay siege to Waterdeep from the south instead of the east.
We'll just have to continue reading this later.
Yeah, we'll see if we can rest up before we tackle the way in the next episode. See you then.